stop chasing everyone else's dreams and comparing your journey to theirs. In 2026, the people who truly win are not the loudest, the richest, or the most connected. They are the ones who quietly focus on themselves, who invest in growth, discipline, and patience while the world is distracted. Every distraction avoided, every skill sharpened, and every silent effort compounds into unstoppable momentum. Today, I'm going to show you why your breakthrough is already in motion, why your victory is inevitable, and how focusing on yourself is the most powerful strategy you can adopt this year. Divine timing is the unseen rhythm of life that operates beyond human control, yet it shapes every moment of our journey. It is the principle that every event, opportunity, and breakthrough occurs not when we demand it or when the world expects it, but precisely when it is meant to happen. Many people fail to understand this, rushing into decisions or comparing their progress to others, believing that speed and visibility equate to success. Divine timing, however, is not about haste, it is about alignment. It is the quiet process in which preparation, patience, and positioning come together to create a moment that cannot be manufactured by human effort alone. In 2026, the focus must be on embracing this rhythm rather than resisting it, because resisting divine timing often leads to frustration, wasted energy, and missed opportunities. It is easy to become discouraged when doors seem closed or when success feels delayed. But these moments of waiting are not signs of failure, they are signs of preparation. During this period, character is being built, discipline is being strengthened, and skills are being refined, often without anyone noticing. The world measures progress by what is visible, but divine timing operates in the invisible realm, where unseen forces are aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities in a way that guarantees that when the moment finally arrives, the impact will be complete and unstoppable. Many people misinterpret waiting as inactivity, but in the context of divine timing, waiting is the most active form of preparation. It is a period to cultivate patience, to focus on self-improvement, and to strengthen the mind, body, and spirit. Every delay, every quiet season is intentional. It is designed to teach lessons that speed cannot provide, to build endurance that challenges cannot break, and to establish a foundation that failure cannot shake. In practical terms, divine timing requires trust in the unseen process. It requires resisting the temptation to compare yourself with others who appear to be moving faster or achieving more. It requires understanding that the seeds you are planting today may not bear fruit immediately, but when they do, the harvest will be abundant. Recognizing divine timing also means learning to read the signs around you, to discern when an opportunity is aligned with your purpose and when it is merely a distraction. It calls for a mindset that values growth over immediate recognition, preparation over public applause, and faith over frustration. By focusing on yourself and trusting in divine timing, you position yourself to maximize the opportunities that come at the right moment. You stop chasing shortcuts and start cultivating readiness, knowing that your victory is not dependent on luck or coincidence, but on the perfect orchestration of events beyond your control, yet perfectly designed for your success. Divine timing is the quiet engine behind every meaningful accomplishment, and understanding it transforms waiting from a source of anxiety into a source of power, patience, and unshakable confidence. Self-mastery is the art and discipline of controlling your thoughts, emotions, habits, and actions to align with your highest purpose and potential, and it is the foundation for any significant success. It is the deliberate choice to prioritize your growth over external approval, your progress over temporary pleasure, and your vision over the distractions of the world. Many people fail to understand that the external victories they seek are often reflections of internal victories they have yet to achieve, and without mastering oneself, no achievement can be sustainable or meaningful. Self-mastery begins with awareness, recognizing that every thought you entertain, every word you speak, and every decision you make shapes the trajectory of your life. It requires vigilance because the mind is often restless, easily influenced by fear, envy, doubt, or the opinions of others. It is not enough to desire success. You must cultivate the inner strength to remain disciplined when motivation fades and to persevere when results are delayed. Central to self-mastery is the control of habits, because habits are the invisible architecture of character, and character is the engine of destiny. The small consistent actions repeated daily, whether productive or destructive, compound over time to create outcomes that feel inevitable. To master oneself is to consciously choose habits that build strength, knowledge and resilience, while rejecting those that drain energy, foster negativity or pull you off course. Emotions must also be managed with care, because unbridled emotions can cloud judgment, provoke rash decisions and lead to unnecessary conflict. Self-mastery teaches patience, temperance and the ability to respond rather than react, ensuring that your actions are guided by intention rather than impulse. It also requires cultivating focus, because focus is the currency of productivity, and without it, talent and effort are scattered and diluted. In the age of constant distraction, mastering oneself means creating boundaries, learning to say no, and dedicating uninterrupted time to growth, reflection and improvement. Self-mastery is deeply tied to resilience, because as you build control over yourself, you become less vulnerable to setbacks, criticism and external pressures. It is also tied to vision, because the more you know yourself and harness your capacities, the clearer your purpose becomes and the more effectively you can pursue it. Ultimately, self-mastery is not about perfection or suppressing natural impulses, but about harmonizing your inner world so that your thoughts, emotions, habits and actions work together to produce consistent, purposeful progress. Those who master themselves are unshakable in the face of adversity, deliberate in their choices, and capable of extraordinary achievement, because they do not wait for circumstances to change. They change themselves, and through themselves they influence the world around them. Self-mastery is the quiet power that underpins every lasting success, the inner discipline that allows patience to be productive, focus to be unwavering, and growth to be continuous, even when the world is noisy, tempting, or chaotic. Patience and endurance are the hidden pillars that sustain growth and progress during the quiet seasons of life, when success seems delayed and circumstances feel stagnant, and they are often the difference between temporary effort and lasting achievement. Patience is not passive waiting, nor is it resignation to circumstances. It is an active, intentional stance that trusts the process, values growth over instant gratification, and recognizes that meaningful results require time to mature. Endurance complements patience by equipping the individual to withstand challenges, setbacks, and prolonged effort without giving up, understanding that struggle is often the soil in which strength, wisdom, and resilience are cultivated. Many people fail because they lack both, abandoning their goals at the first sign of difficulty, rushing through processes, or becoming frustrated when their progress does not match their expectations. True patience allows one to see the bigger picture, to recognize that every closed door, every delay, every quiet season is part of a broader design that cannot be rushed, and that every small, consistent effort contributes to the final outcome, even when it feels invisible or unrewarded. Endurance is cultivated through repeated trials, disciplined action, and a willingness to continue when motivation wanes, when external encouragement is absent, and when obstacles appear insurmountable. Those who endure understand that discomfort, delay, and challenge are not enemies but essential components of transformation, and they learn to navigate adversity without losing focus on their purpose. Patience requires control of the mind, preventing frustration, anxiety, and doubt from dictating choices or leading to impulsive actions that can derail progress. And it teaches the value of timing, recognizing that moving too quickly or forcing outcomes often results in failure or wasted effort. Endurance builds resilience, shaping character and instilling a steadfastness that allows one to keep going even when progress seems minimal or invisible to the world. And it strengthens confidence in one's abilities, because it demonstrates that persistence yields results over time. Together, patience and endurance create a rhythm of disciplined action and measured waiting, where effort is consistent and deliberate, yet expectations are aligned with the natural unfolding of events, and this rhythm reduces stress, prevents burnout, and fosters sustained growth. Developing these qualities also requires self-awareness, because one must recognize personal limits, manage energy wisely, and adopt strategies that maintain momentum without compromising health, relationships, or vision. The individuals who succeed in life are rarely the ones who sprint the fastest or appear the most energetic. They are those who pace themselves, endure hardships, and remain committed to their path despite obstacles, distractions, or slow progress. Patience and endurance allow one to navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life with grace, maintain focus during periods of uncertainty, and cultivate a mindset that sees setbacks as opportunities for learning and preparation rather than as failures. And they prepare the individual to seize opportunities fully when they finally arrive, ensuring that victory is not only achieved but sustained over time. Avoiding distractions is one of the most critical disciplines for anyone who desires to maximize their potential and achieve meaningful success, because distractions constantly divert energy, focus, and time away from what truly matters and prevent the full realization of purpose. Distractions come in many forms, some obvious, such as social media, entertainment, or excessive socializing, and some subtle, like unnecessary comparisons, negative influences, or pursuing opportunities that do not align with your vision. Most people fail to achieve their goals because they allow these diversions to fragment their attention, dilute their efforts, and steal their energy, often without even realizing how much they are losing. Focusing on oneself requires the courage to identify what is essential and to eliminate what is non-essential, to discern between activities that build momentum and those that consume time without contributing to growth. The mind is naturally drawn to novelty, comfort, and external validation, and without intentional control, it will wander toward anything that promises instant gratification or temporary excitement, leaving long-term objectives neglected. Avoiding distractions begins with awareness, recognizing the patterns, triggers, and environments that lead to wasted energy, and deliberately designing life in a way that minimizes these influences. It requires prioritization, establishing clear goals, and ruthlessly protecting the time and energy needed to pursue them, because every minute spent on meaningless engagement is a minute stolen from personal development, skill acquisition, and progress toward one's destiny. Avoiding distractions also demands discipline, because even when one knows what is important, temptations, interruptions, and obligations often arise, and it is easy to succumb to the urge to engage with the trivial or the urgent at the expense of the vital. Developing this discipline involves building habits that reinforce focus, such as daily routines, intentional work periods, and environments that encourage deep concentration, while removing elements that fragment attention or create mental clutter. Self-awareness is equally important, as it allows one to identify internal distractions such as doubt, fear, or overthinking, which can be just as debilitating as external diversions, and to replace them with thought patterns, affirmations, and practices that reinforce clarity and purpose. Avoiding distractions is not about isolating oneself completely or rejecting all forms of leisure or connection, but about choosing carefully where attention is invested and ensuring that energy flows toward what is aligned with growth, progress, and long-term goals. Those who master the art of minimizing distractions find themselves more productive, more creative, and more effective, because their energy is concentrated and their efforts compound rather than dissipate, allowing them to achieve results that others may attempt but fail to realize. The process also builds resilience, as it teaches patience, focus, and commitment in a world that constantly vies for attention. And it allows one to recognize the difference between meaningful opportunities and mere noise, ensuring that every action contributes directly to purpose, vision, and personal excellence, while protecting against the chaos, comparison, and time-wasting habits that undermine success. Consistency over intensity is a principle that emphasizes the power of steady, deliberate effort sustained over time, rather than bursts of extreme activity followed by burnout or stagnations. And it is one of the most overlooked keys to long-term success, because many people mistakenly believe that occasional bursts of effort are sufficient to achieve extraordinary results. Consistency is the practice of showing up every day, putting in the work, and maintaining progress even when motivation is low, circumstances are difficult, or immediate results are not visible. And it is what separates those who achieve lasting impact from those who fade after initial effort. Intensity alone, while it can produce short-term results, is rarely sustainable, because human energy, focus, and willpower are limited, and relying on sporadic peaks often leads to exhaustion, inconsistency, and eventual failure. When you prioritize consistency, you create a rhythm in life that allows habits, skills, and knowledge to compound, because repeated action, no matter how small, builds momentum over time and produces results that feel inevitable. The principle of consistency over intensity also teaches discipline, because it requires showing up even when conditions are not ideal, when enthusiasm has waned, or when external validation is absent, and this discipline becomes a habit that strengthens character and fortifies resolve. Many people underestimate the cumulative power of small deliberate actions, believing that only grand gestures or extreme effort matter. Yet life demonstrates that greatness is rarely achieved in leaps and bounds, but in incremental progress repeated faithfully over months and years. And this is why consistency creates an advantage that intensity alone cannot replicate. Consistency over intensity also builds credibility and trust, because when people or circumstances observe repeated reliable action, it signals commitment, reliability, and professionalism. And these qualities open doors that raw effort or temporary brilliance cannot. The concept extends to mindset as well, because consistent mental discipline, focus, and belief in oneself reinforce confidence, resilience, and perseverance, allowing one to navigate setbacks without losing direction or motivation. Developing consistency requires a clear understanding of priorities, the creation of structured routines, and the elimination of distractions that interrupt progress, because repeated action without alignment yields little benefit. At the same time, it is not about mediocrity or minimal effort, but about measured, deliberate action that compounds over time, and it teaches patience, humility, and the value of process over instant gratification. The people who achieve extraordinary outcomes are rarely those who work harder for a few days or weeks, but those who show up day after day, steadily applying themselves, refining their skills, learning from mistakes, and maintaining focus. And this relentless, consistent application creates mastery, influence, and the results that everyone desires. Understanding and embracing consistency over intensity transforms how you approach work, learning, growth, and even personal development, because it shifts the focus from short-term spikes of performance to long-term progress, ensuring that effort produces sustainable results. Habits are strengthened, and success becomes inevitable when compounded over time in alignment with purpose and vision, while intensity alone, no matter how powerful, will always fade without the reinforcement of daily commitment, steady focus, and disciplined persistence. Victory is inevitable when preparation, focus, faith, and disciplined effort align with the right timing, because true success is not a matter of chance or circumstance, but of consistent action combined with belief in the unseen process. And those who understand this principle approach life with confidence and clarity rather than anxiety or doubt. Many people live as though success is uncertain or dependent on luck, but the truth is that when one invests in self-mastery, patience, focus, and perseverance, the results are unavoidable, because every step builds momentum toward the outcome that is already being shaped by unseen forces. Victory begins in the mind, with a mindset that refuses to accept failure as final and sees every challenge as a step toward growth, and it is reinforced by daily actions that reflect commitment to long-term goals rather than temporary desires or distractions. When you believe that victory is inevitable, it changes how you operate, because uncertainty no longer paralyzes you, and setbacks are reframed as necessary experiences that refine strategy, character, and resilience. This principle does not imply complacency or passivity. It demands persistent effort, careful planning, disciplined focus, and the courage to continue when circumstances seem discouraging or progress is slow, because inevitability emerges not from ignoring challenges, but from overcoming them consistently. Those who embrace the certainty of eventual success are able to maintain motivation and clarity even when external validation is absent, and they approach obstacles with creativity, resourcefulness, and unshakable confidence, because they understand that temporary difficulties cannot prevent the outcome that preparation and perseverance are already ensuring. Victory is inevitable when effort aligns with purpose, because purpose acts as a compass that guides decisions, energy, and time, ensuring that all actions contribute directly to the ultimate goal rather than being wasted on irrelevant pursuits. And it allows the individual to persist through uncertainty, distraction, and opposition without losing sight of the end result. It also depends on trusting the process and understanding that growth is often silent and unseen, and that what appears slow or stagnant is actually the accumulation of experience, skills, and relationships that will catalyze a breakthrough at the right moment. Recognizing the inevitability of victory fosters patience, humility, and resilience, because it teaches that while results may not be immediate, the trajectory of effort is moving towards success, and it reduces fear, doubt, and impulsive decisions that could derail progress. This principle also inspires boldness, because those who are confident in the certainty of their eventual victory are willing to take calculated risks, pursue opportunities others avoid, and invest in long-term growth without being distracted by temporary setbacks or discouragement. And this confidence magnifies their effectiveness and influence in every area of life. Victory is inevitable for those who consistently focus on themselves, honor the timing of their process, and refuse to let external pressures or temporary failure dictate their path, because the combination of preparation, patience, and persistence produces results that cannot be denied, circumvented, or reversed. And this understanding transforms how challenges are faced, how opportunities are pursued, and how life is lived with unshakable purpose and unstoppable momentum. Faith in the process is the unshakable belief that every step, no matter how small or unseen, is moving you toward your purpose and ultimate victory. And it is the bridge between effort and outcome, connecting preparation with results even when circumstances appear uncertain, delayed, or discouraging. Many people fail to see the value of faith in the process because they expect immediate results or visible proof that their efforts are paying off. And when outcomes are not instantly apparent, doubt and frustration take over, causing them to abandon the path or take shortcuts that undermine long-term success. Faith in the process is cultivated through trust, patience, and consistent action, and it requires the mindset that every experience, challenge, and delay has meaning, contributing to growth, wisdom, and the eventual manifestation of success, even if the lesson or purpose is not yet clear. It is the understanding that while human effort is essential, there are unseen forces, divine timing, and natural laws at work that align opportunities, resources, and people in ways beyond immediate comprehension. And faith allows one to continue working diligently without becoming discouraged by what is not yet visible. This principle also fosters resilience, because when faith in the process is strong, obstacles become temporary tests rather than permanent barriers, and setbacks are reframed as necessary adjustments or lessons rather than signs of failure. Those who possess this faith act with intentionality, focusing on what they can control, their mindset, habits, preparation, and discipline, while surrendering the uncontrollable aspects, knowing that persistent, aligned effort eventually produces results that are consistent with their goals and purpose. Faith in the process also transforms perspective, because it shifts attention from immediate gratification to long-term outcomes, from comparison with others to alignment with personal growth, and from anxiety over timing to trust in preparation, patience, and perseverance. And this shift allows energy and focus to be devoted to meaningful work rather than wasted on worry, doubt, or distraction. Developing faith in the process requires experience, observation, and reflection, because seeing the results of consistent effort over time reinforces the understanding that small, deliberate actions compound, and that seemingly insignificant steps accumulate into extraordinary outcomes. It also requires humility, recognizing that not everything can be forced or controlled, and that patience and trust are essential components of success, ensuring that one's actions are synchronized with the natural rhythm of growth and opportunity rather than fighting against it. Faith in the process is reinforced through discipline, daily routines, and repeated commitment to growth, because it strengthens the belief that progress is happening even when it is not immediately evident, and it aligns mindset with action, producing a synergy that accelerates momentum, fortifies confidence, and minimizes wasted energy. Individuals who embody this faith navigate uncertainty with calmness, persistence, and clarity, acting decisively while remaining patient, knowing that the accumulation of effort, focus, and preparation inevitably leads to results. By trusting the process, one develops the inner stability to persevere through challenges, maintain unwavering focus on objectives, and embrace the journey with confidence, knowing that every invested hour, lesson learned, and disciplined action contributes directly to the ultimate breakthrough. And this trust transforms waiting into a season of productive growth, setbacks into lessons, and persistence into victory, creating a life where faith in the process becomes the foundation for both personal fulfillment and extraordinary achievement. Remember, your breakthrough is not defined by noise, validation, or shortcuts. It is defined by focus, discipline, and faith in the quiet process that shapes you when no one is watching. Stay committed to yourself, guard your mind and energy, and invest in consistent growth every single day. The world may not see it now, but 2026 will reveal the power of what you have been building in silence. Trust the process, embrace patience, and keep moving forward. Your victory is inevitable, and the person you are becoming is exactly who you need to be to win.